Hey Sam,
Hey, Kina, thanks for reaching out. What can I help you with today?
I have to organize a virtual event and I have no idea how to start. I know you have some experience at. Do you think you could walk me through how it works?
I'd be happy to. So many businesses, organizations, and even families are utilizing virtual conferencing these days. I know it can feel a little overwhelming, but don't worry, I can help. First, let's go over some vocabulary and talk about what video conferencing is. What is video conferencing? Video conferencing is a live, video based meeting between two or more people in different locations using computers, tablets, or phones that have cameras, microphones, and speakers. Video conferencing allows multiple people to meet and collaborate face to face long distance by transmitting audio, video, text, and presentations in real time through the internet. There are multiple applications and platforms that provide video conferencing services. Some that you might be familiar with are Zoom, GoToMeeting, WebEx, BlueJeans, Google Hangout, and FaceTime. Most video conferencing applications have similar features and ways of operating. Also, all of these platforms usually have a variety of meeting types. Let's look at the similarities and differences of some of them. Webinars are usually large meetings. One or more speakers give information and can be seen, heard, and share visual presentations. Attendees cannot be seen but can ask questions either in writing in the chat box, more on that later, or verbally. Webinars are great ways to get information to a lot of people, but they are not very interactive. Meetings are like webinars, but participants and speakers are all together. Everyone can be seen and heard. Because of this, meetings are much better for interaction, planning, discussion, and connecting with people. Meetings are typically smaller than webinars. Hangouts and FaceTime are similar to meetings, but are specific to Google and Apple. Live streaming is a service provided by some of the video conferencing applications. Meetings and webinars can be broadcast to web pages or social media outlets like YouTube or Facebook. This way, anyone can view the speakers. Only presenters will be visible. Live streaming is used for high-interest content or even performances. The first step in organizing a video conference is to determine the purpose of the meeting and define the outcome. Let's walk through some questions and answers to help you plan. How many people are you expecting? If it's a large group, 50 or more, a webinar is probably the best format as it is difficult to have a lot of people on screen and interacting. Groups of less than 50 can be in a meeting to see each other and be able to discuss. How well do the participants know each other? If the group meets often and are familiar with working together, less formality and support is needed. If it's a conference or workshop type meeting, the format is necessarily more formal and controlled. Is it a lecture type of presentation, or are attendees actively participating? Again, a webinar is more of a stand and deliver format. Attendees can ask questions in the chat box, but not be seen or heard. Meetings are better for active participation. Is the meeting mostly informational, or are there action outcomes as a result of coming together? This will impact some of the technical tools used. Informational meetings are usually driven by PowerPoint slides, but planning meetings, for example, might use visual tools like whiteboards, annotations, and polling. How many presenters? In a webinar, multiple presenters will be invited to be panelists, while participants are attendees. There may be different meeting links for different types of roles. Will there be attendees who are observers only? Some public board meetings are conducted with board members being panelists and the general public being attendees, so that they can observe and participate in open comment periods, for example. In organizing your meeting, think through the roles of all people attending. Is this a closed group or can anyone attend? If the meeting is by invitation only, email the connection links to invited participants. Do not post a link to a meeting on social media. You can post a registration link. If your event is of interest to the public, a performance for example, consider live streaming from the video conferencing platform to something like YouTube or Facebook. The video conferencing provider website will provide directions for that. Now that you have a basic understanding of the different types of video conferencing meetings, decide which best fits your presenter, your purpose, and the general outcomes. Check with presenters to determine their needs and comfort level with the type of meeting chosen. Technical aspects. First, determine what type of video conferencing application will be used. Your business may have an account. If not, many providers have a free tier for people using their application on a limited basis. Log into the chosen application and set up your meeting type, date, time, watch the time zone, and description. Also, go into settings and make sure your meeting will be set up properly. Some common things to check are adding a co-host. This enables someone besides yourself to help moderate or conduct the meeting. Record the meeting. If desired, the meeting can be recorded automatically. You can also record once the meeting starts. Enable a waiting room. This will hold participants in a waiting room until you are ready to start it. Security. There are options for privacy, etc. Enabling tools during the meeting. Tools like annotation or screen share, etc. can be turned on or off. There are many other options depending on the provider. Read through the settings and determine what will work best for the type of meeting you are planning. Security considerations. When organizing a meeting, it is important to plan out your meeting or webinar security needs. First of all, determine the type of meeting and the type of participants who will be attending. Security settings are a continuum of very tightly controlled to mostly open. Some basic security guidelines are: never post the direct link to a video conferencing meeting on a web page or social media that can be accessed by anyone on the planet. If you want the general public to attend a video event, consider these options. Create a registration link in the video conferencing application to share openly. This way, attendees can be vetted and controlled ahead of time. Or, live stream your meeting on Facebook or YouTube so attendees can passively watch. These applications have settings for allowing open comments. Check their website for tutorials on this. Other security precautions may be waiting rooms. This allows the host to see who is joining and admitting them if approved. Providing passcodes to meetings. If attendees are a closed group, setting up a connection link and a passcode is best. Ask participants not to share. When scheduling a meeting or webinar with your chosen application, read through the settings and security information carefully. There are usually controls that you can turn on or off for tools, technology, and what presenters and attendees can do. Familiarize yourself with the options and also update your video conferencing software often and especially prior to your meeting because updates often have increased security options. Accommodations for participants with special needs. Video conferencing is a powerful tool, but be sure to consider those participants who have special needs and will need extra help to fully participate. Luckily, there are tools within the application and outside service providers to help those with disabilities. Some adaptation items are closed captioning for those with hearing impairments. Many applications have a closed captioning icon that can be enabled for minimal closed captioning and transcribing. Read through the applications for information on this option. However, a meeting with complex information, or that meet for a longer time frame, consider paying an outside provider for closed captioning services. These specially trained individuals can transcribe at fast speeds with accuracy. They will help you understand how to assign closed captioning within the video conferencing application. Sign language interpretation. There are many interpreters who have experience with providing services on screen. Do some research in your community to see who is available. However, interpreters can be located anywhere they have internet, so do some research online also. If a sign language interpreter is needed, be sure to pin or spotlight them during the meeting so participants can see them clearly. Visually impaired participants. Provide participants copies of any documents or presentation materials prior to the meeting. Participants with visual impairments usually have adaptive tools and strategies they use to enable them to read documents. Work with them to determine if they need anyone who speaks to identify themselves prior to speaking. If there are meeting participants with special needs, be sure that the presenter knows prior to the meeting. Also, ask the participant needing accommodations what to do in order for you to empower them to participate. They will appreciate the effort. Registration and connection. Once the meeting is scheduled in the video conferencing application, determine whether attendees will need to register for the meeting and how that will be done. Video conferencing applications usually have registration with automated email functions. The registration link is sent to attendees or is posted in a newsletter or social media. Participants click the link and register, and then they are sent an email with the connection information. Another way to register is to use a separate email or form registration and send registrants the video conferencing link directly. Either way, plan on sending a reminder email close to the actual date of the meeting, particularly for events with 10 or more participants. Presenters. In a regular face-to-face meeting, presenters need to know when and where to show up, what equipment or room setup is available, and how long their expected presentation time is. However, in a virtual meeting, an organizer may need to assist the presenter in getting ready to work virtually. Determine: how much experience does the presenter have conducting virtual meetings? Do they have a stable and fast internet connection? Do they have a room set up with good lighting, camera, and audio quality? What materials will they be sharing virtually, and what tools will they need? Can they comfortably screen share, video, and audio? How interactive is their presentation? How will they monitor the chat box? Do they want to use polls, breakout rooms, or other meeting tools that you have available? Will they have documents or other resources for participants, and how should participants get them? Do they need closed captioning, sign language, or any other accommodations? Plan on talking through the presentation with the speaker and also set up a practice time and tech check several days before the meeting. Emphasize that the tech check should be in the room that the presenter will be using during the meeting. The more preparation, the smoother the meeting will go. Participant expectation. Prior to the meeting, list out participant expectations and then go over them at the beginning of the meeting. Topics to consider are muting and unmuting microphones, cameras on, the best practice, chat box rules, ways to ask questions, how to get technical assistance, where documents and resources for the meeting are found, behavior expectations, respectful and appropriate comments, no side conversations, etc., surveys, evaluation, and feedback. Marketing and communication. As part of the meeting organization, determine the type of marketing or communication needed. This may be as simple as a calendar invitation with the connection information for a few participants, or a complete newsletter and social media marketing campaign. Check the connection information on any communication for accuracy and include contact information for questions. Other applications. There are times when using applications during the virtual meeting will be desired. For example, using a collaborative document so that participants can compose together, or using a quiz application on cell phones to get participants involved are ways to keep it interesting and productive. Plan expectations and clear instructions for smooth use of any third-party tools. Meeting flow. Have a clear agenda. This can be posted by screen sharing at the beginning of the meeting and/or explaining it verbally. It can also be sent prior to the meeting. All speaker names and appropriate titles, time schedule including breaks, action items, breakout rooms, conclusions, outcomes, and takeaways, ways to give feedback, and pertinent contact information are examples of what should go on the agenda. This is also a good time to determine whether you will need a moderator for the meeting. The moderator helps keep the flow going, takes care of housekeeping and technical issues, and helps the presenter monitor the chat box or call on participants for questions or comments. A moderator is recommended for larger meetings or gatherings with participants who don't know each other, like in a conference setting, for example. Moderators can help with group or individual facilitation, question and answers, resource sharing, technical troubleshooting, chat monitoring, outside app use, recognizing participants, and announcement and introductions. Moderators should be trained prior to the meeting and, if necessary, given a script to use. They should also be introduced to the speaker and attend the tech check and presentation run-through. Follow-up. Typically, an organizer attends the meeting unless the meeting is turned over to the moderator. Plan on starting the meeting 20 to 30 minutes early for the presenter and moderator to check technology, screen sharing, and get comfortable. Attendees can be let into the meeting about 5 minutes early depending on how the meeting was set up in the application. At the conclusion of the meeting, send appropriate follow-up communication, including thank yous, documents, or surveys. Organizing virtual meetings is much like organizing face-to-face meetings with the added technical twist. Becoming very familiar with the video conferencing application being used, watch tutorials if you have questions, keep applications updated, and most important, practice. The more comfortable you are with this powerful technology, the smoother your meeting will be.
With these tools, you'll be able to organize the best virtual event.
This has been so helpful, Sam. Thank you. Now I know I can do this. Talk to you later.
Bye.